All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we're talking Los Angeles Rams rookie defender Josiah Stewart. Stewart had an underrated but massive impact in the Rams' most recent victory. He's become a key part of this Rams defensive rotation with his playmaking and his athleticism. We'll break down everything he did so well, as always, in the comment section below. Give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's get started with a little run defense, and there's Stewart, number 10, right there on the right side of your screen. So what we're going to get here from Seattle is a design cutback. They're going to bring the fullback in motion this way pre-snap, and he's going to come around this way to try and block Stewart. Everyone else is going to be blocking down, working up to the next level. And you're basically trying to sell like it's sort of like zone, but there's going to be a design cutback, like I said, working that direction to the right side of your screen. Tough situation for Josiah Stewart because it's really well blocked by the Seattle Seahawks. They get movement down inside. They get up to the next level. They have a really good seal from everything to the left of that part right there of the field, but Josiah Stewart does a good job taking on the fullback's block, fights off to make the tackle. Let's check it out. All right, there's the motion. There's a snap. There's a handoff. There's a cutback. Fights off the block, makes a play. Saved a whole lot of yardage there. All right, let's break this down. So you can see the fullback. He's coming around right there, gets a helmet right there on Stewart, and Stewart's caught in the trash. Not good right there. But here's the thing from Josiah Stewart. He's trying to play down the line of scrimmage like it's a zone scheme, right? Like it's an inside zone, outside zone, working to the other side of the field. So this isn't bad for him right here. He just gets caught in the trash, and he's late to react. But here's the athleticism. He fights it off and then makes a tackle. That's good stuff. Now, he has corner help right here, number 14's in position, and they have linebackers flowing over the top. But right there, they have a chance, Seattle does, if they get better blocks, right? They got tight end up to 53, offensive lineman up to 48. Now, fortunately for Los Angeles, both these guys whiff, right? So the linebackers are able to flow over the top and be part of the tackle. But if they don't, if they get a halfway decent block, it's Josiah Stewart making the play with the safety defensive back outside leverage. It's a tough position for any defender, probably a good play for Seattle. Instead, Josiah Stewart, number 10, does a really good job fighting off the fullback, making the tackle. Nice rep. From the wide copy, get a good look at number 10 right there at the bottom of your screen. Works down the line of scrimmage, gets caught in the trash, but fights off and makes a tackle. You can see from this angle, about right here, let me back up just a little bit more. It doesn't look good for the Los Angeles Rams. They got tight end up there. They got offensive lineman up there. They got receiver for the safety. It looks like right here it's going to be one-on-one with the corner for a touchdown. But Josiah Stewart does a nice job fighting off the block right there and then making the play. Obviously, the linebackers beat their respective blocks, and they're part of the tackle as well. Credit to those guys for working hard and making sure they flow over the top. But number 10, he does the dirty work, fights off the block, makes a tackle. That's what it's all about, being an athletic playmaker, and Josiah Stewart, he can do that. All right, how about getting after the quarterback? There's Josiah Stewart right there, all the way on the far right side of your screen. And what we're going to get here from the Seattle Seahawks is a play action this way in boot, just like this. Number 88 is going to go in motion, and he's going to block number 10 for a second, block Josiah Stewart for a second before he releases into a pattern. And Josiah Stewart does a great job chipping the tight end, not letting him release cleanly before getting pressure on the quarterback. Seattle's still able to convert the completion because of a good throw and catch, but number 10 does his job. Let's check it out. There's the motion. There's a snap. There's play action. There's the boot. Josiah Stewart pressure in the face. Is able to hit the receiver for a first down. Good job by the Seattle offense. But defensive end, Josiah Stewart, he did his job. Watch how he takes on the tight end right there and blocks him right there. Doesn't let him a free release. Stays on him up the field a long time before he gets into the quarterback's face. And at the very end here, doesn't do anything stupid. No late hit. No, throwing his helmet into his helmet. No whacking the quarterback upside the face mask, an easy 15. Just good pressure outside in. Forces the quarterback to make a tough throw across his body. And listen, it's one of those things. If you're forcing the quarterback on a boot to go to his third read across his body and he's able to put it on the dot like that, listen, you live with that because guess what? Over the course of the game, you get enough pressures like this, force the quarterback to throw a little off balance like that, and what do? You get 4 picks, right? You get a big win against a really good division opponent. These kind of pressures add up, right? It's making life hard for the quarterback. Make him go to a second, third read, make him throw off platform, just like Josiah Stewart does here after chipping the tight end. Listen, Sam Darnold, he got this one, but there were 4 times in this game where the Rams won big, and that's why they came away with the victory on Sunday. All right, for the wide copy, get a really good look at the tight end right there. Josiah Stewart at the bottom of your screen. Engages with the tight end, blows up the route, gets pressure on the quarterback. Again, hits the open man with an accurate throw. Hey, good job. Credit where credit is due. But if you look at where he's trying to go initially, right? There's potentially the corner to Cooper Kupp. That's covered, right? The Seahawks don't have it there. Josiah Stewart eliminated the tight end by hanging on the tight end this long. It allows the linebacker, I believe that's Spates, to cover him up. That means he has to go to his third option, the receiver working across the field. And listen, he's got him, but he's got to throw off platform and throw it accurately. And Sam Darnold had a lot of throws where he wasn't able to do this because of the pressure. So this play right here wasn't a win for the Rams, but plays like this were a big reason why they come away with a big victory, a lot of it due to the 4 interceptions they got. And even though Josiah Stewart doesn't get credit for a quarterback hit or a pressure or anything like this, you do this enough times over the course of a game, guess what? Quarterbacks will make mistakes, and we all saw that on Sunday. All right, how about an effort play from Josiah Stewart? And there he is on the right side of your screen. It's going to be a reverse. They're going to fake the handoff this way. They're going to have the tight end H-back here going to lead out in the flat, and they're going to bring the receiver around in motion pre-snap, and he's going to get the handoff on the reverse. And guys, it puts a lot of pressure on Josiah Stewart, right? He's seeing the run this direction. He flies down the line of scrimmage, but he does a good job putting his foot to the ground and hustling parallel to line of scrimmage, takes a good angle, plays with good hustle, is part of the group that makes a tackle. Love the effort more than anything else, though. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a play fake. There's a reverse. Looks like he's got some room, but they hustle, they fill, and they make the play. Good defense across the board. Josiah Stewart plays this really well. Watch how he goes down the line of scrimmage, stops, basically has to go to a dead stop, puts his foot in the ground, and then turns. See how he runs parallel to the line of scrimmage the whole time? One of the things that can happen with defensive linemen especially is they take a bad angle. So look at Fisk here. It's a really good example. I'm going to pick on him, just pick on 55 here for a second. So he sees the reverse right here. What does he do? He goes upfield about 2 or 3 yards, right? It's so hard to stop on a dime. He should stop right here and go parallel to line of scrimmage. But see how he goes upfield? It's really hard to not do that, just to run the hoop. Josiah Stewart right here, probably because he ran into the offensive lineman, but regardless, still put his foot in the ground and ran parallel to line of scrimmage, worked up the field, and was part of the tackle. Really good effort here from number 10. And again, the hustle is there. The effort is there. Here's the thing. The Rams play with such good team defense. They're all flying to the football, all playing with good effort, right? 53 is there, right? It's a team effort, as it always is with the Los Angeles defensive squad. But one of the things I love looking at Josiah Stewart is like, man, if Landman had screwed it up or one of these DBs didn't make the play, Josiah Stewart was there. And there's going to be moments later in the season where maybe they have injuries, God forbid, or some other kind of performance where there's not going to be help. And number 10 is going to be by himself. And one thing I loved watching his film against Seattle is he was ready to step up in those instances, and I think he'll have chances to do that down the stretch. All right, from the wide copy, you can see 10 at the bottom of your screen, works down line of scrimmage. See how he's parallel to line of scrimmage right now, runs flat down the line, winds out a little bit to cut off the running back or receiver on the reverse, and he's part of the tackle. Again, is it a highlight film play? No, but it's little things like this that I think really stand out to me when you look at this Rams defense as a whole, especially a new addition, a rookie like Stewart, right? He's still new to the team. I know we're more than halfway through the season, but still, he's still a rookie on a championship caliber team. Not an easy thing to be a part of, but he still plays the right way. He hustles, takes good angles, all the little things that add up over time. Good job here once again by Josiah Stewart. All right, let's show off some of number 10's pass rushing talent, and there he is once again on the right side of your screen. So he's going to have a tight end release out to him to chip him for a little bit before he's one-on-one with the tackle, and it's actually going to be an inside move from Josiah Stewart right here with the defensive lineman, this 3 technique right there. He's going to go outside and try and pull the guard this way. Now, what the Seattle Seahawks do is they don't hand it off very well. They basically treat it like man, so even though Josiah Stewart loops around, number 72 stays on him. They have the right guard sticky with that defensive tackle at all times. But again, Josiah Stewart here does a really good job. He looks a little glitch in the matrix here, the way he just avoids number 88 and then avoids 72, makes it look easy, beat them both. The ball was gone, unfortunately, before Josiah Stewart could get the pressure, but I love, once again, the athletic ability he showcases. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Has time, quick throw, gets the ball out of there. Yeah, decent little gain for Seattle. All right, let's look at Josiah Stewart. Look at this pass rush, guys. So he gets up the field, sees 88 come at him, jumps inside, sees 72 right there, jumps inside again. They don't lay a glove on him. He has these moments, guys, where Stewart does, where the offensive line can't even get a hand on him. He plays so fast and has such really good agility. He's very different than Verse. He's very different than Young. He's very different than a lot of the other players on this defense. A lot of those other guys, they win with power and strength, and you can see it right here. Right, you can see that's a bull rush move, right? That's what you see from a lot of the Rams defenders. Obviously, Fisk does that a lot as well. Kobe Turner has a little bit of elusiveness to him, but he's more of a multi-tooled kind of player. Josiah Stewart has moments where he's like glitch in the matrix, where he's so athletic. I mean, look at this. I mean, he has the tight end. Tight end's trying to chip him here and misses him completely. Look at that. And then 72's on him and barely gets a glove on him, almost held him. In fact, Josiah Stewart beat him so clean that 72 couldn't even hold on, right? It's one of those things that gets me really excited. This was totally by design. 90 working up the field outside, opens up this hole that Josiah Stewart's able to take advantage of. Unfortunately for the Rams defense, it's a quick throw. If this had been a longer throw, I think this would have been a sack or at least a quarterback hit. But I tell you what, when you watch this guy on film, his athleticism continues to show up, right? He understands how to play the run. He's a physical guy, hustle guy, all those things, but he still has those pass rush special moments that really stand out. After the wide copy, get a really good look at Josiah Stewart right there at the bottom of your screen. Makes a tight end miss. Tackle can't even get a hand on him. I mean, this is just playing at a different level. Again, this is an NFL athlete, an NFL tight end, NFL tackle, experienced guys. And you can see the tight end trying to chip him. Totally misses him right there. That's not ideal. He's trying to chip him. Instead, he's punching air. And the left tackle right here he just doesn't stand a chance, right? Not to be mean, like it's a tough block for anybody, but he has no chance to cut off Stewart, and he would have been right there to get pressure on the quarterback. It's a really good rep from number 10. Again, it was one of those days from Josiah Stewart where his best reps, his best wins, they were quick throws, and sometimes it's like that as an edge rusher, right? If the quarterback gets rid of the ball quickly when you win, you're not going to get a lot of sacks or quarterback hits. But I tell you what, guys, later in the season, especially in the postseason, when quarterbacks have to hang in the pocket on those 3rd and 8s, those big moments late in games, if Josiah Stewart's on the field, and I think the Rams trust him to get him on the field in those situations, he'll end up with I think a really healthy amount of quarterback hits, sacks, things like that, because when he gets in these pass rush situations, he does have special ability. All right, quick break in the film review. Look, I was taught to break down film by my college coaches at the Division I level. All the players are. It's just a fact of playing football at that level. And I want to take this opportunity to give you guys, the average fan, more opportunities to get that insider knowledge of how the game is taught at that highest level of college football. I created a checklist, a step-by-step guide for you guys, 100% free. That's based on how I was taught to break down film by my coaches and that I use today to create these film reviews. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you right to it. I really appreciate it if you guys decide to get it. Again, 100% free, just trying to share information to you guys, stuff that was taught to me by my coaches. But without further ado, let's get back into the film. All right, guys, let's go a little tush-push action right there. You can see this mass of humanity in the middle of the screen. You can see Josiah Stewart. He's lined up over here on the right. I mean, look at all these bodies right there. I mean, this is just crazy football. But there's 3 parts to defending the tush-push, and it's hard to do. Number 1, these guys have to, right here, these 2 interior guys, they can't get blown off the football. They got to create a solid wall. Number 2, you have to have guys going over the top to slow down the initial momentum, right? If those 2 things you don't get, you don't stand a chance. But most of the time what happens is teams are able to create a little bit of a wall here, and some guy goes over the top, and the quarterback, or in this case, the Seahawks tight end, loses momentum initially. But that's where the push comes in. That's where these guys come from behind and push them over the edge. What you need then is guys coming from the edges, Josiah Stewart, Landman in this case, to basically force and deadlock the momentum. And once this tight end, or in this case, or quarterback tight end, whatever you want to say in this situation, it's the Seattle Seahawks tight end here. Once he gets the push, you work him from the side, so that way instead of momentum going this way, he just goes laterally and doesn't get the yardage. A lot of lines on the screen right there, as you can see. But guys, we'll watch this play out. Really good defense across the board for the Rams. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Mass of humanity. Doesn't get it. All right, let's break this down. I know it's kind of a crazy play to break down, but you can see that wall right there up front. Good job. Verse jumps over the top. That's good right there, but here's the thing. A lot of times when you get a little push here at the end, you get the first down, right? You get number, who's that, 26, 24, coming from behind, and he pushes you over the line to gain. Or they get an offensive lineman come from behind, and he's able to throw you over the line of scrimmage, right? That's what happens a lot. But the way you prevent that is when you have guys like Josiah Stewart here, going horizontally and dragging him down, right? You can see number 10 working around the trash, laying out and just forcing him horizontal. Right there, all the momentum for A.J. Barner is going forward right here, but because of Josiah Stewart is pushing him laterally right there, the push from behind isn't enough to get him over the line to gain, and he falls short of the yardage, right? This is good team defense, really good team defense, and it takes all 3 parts. This initial surge right here, critical, that's good. But how many times do we see, okay, quarterback gets a shove and falls forward? Josiah Stewart, he makes that final key piece right here. Of course, Jared Verse has a big role in this as well. Landman from the outside, not great, but he's at least fighting there a little bit. But Verse does his part, Josiah Stewart does the other part, forcing him laterally, making sure he doesn't get the first down. All right, from the wide copy, looks really, really good defensively. You're going to see the initial surge, nicely done. But right here, how many times do we see this gets a first down, right? Runs into the wall, here comes the push, and he's able to fall forward. But Josiah Stewart, again, he sees right here, there's a tight end, quarterback sneak. He pushes him laterally, and that push basically falls over. This is what you need. This is how you stop the tush push. It's 3 parts. Surge right there, over the top momentum stomper. Now you need people coming from the side to make sure the momentum from the push goes nowhere. Josiah Stewart does that. Great play. All right, let's talk about how the Los Angeles Rams really did a number on this outstanding Seattle Seahawks offense. So you can see Josiah Stewart right over there on the left side of your screen. He's going to drop into coverage here, not before chipping the tight end. And why was this a big part of their game plan, dropping Josiah Stewart and other edge defenders into coverage? Because Seattle is all about Play action, big plays down the field, big plays down the field. That's how they operate. And one of the ways you can frustrate them is to make them hit the checkdowns, make them go short, because they are a big play offense. They're not very methodical, right? If you force them to be methodical, as you Rams fans saw on Sunday, they'll make mistakes, right? They get a little sloppy. Sam Darnold gets a little sloppy. But it only works if you have corners and safeties, like you see 37 safety in the middle of the screen right there, that can maintain good deep coverage, and you have outside linebackers and normal middle linebackers, inside linebackers, do a good job in their zone coverage. And that means Josiah Stewart, a rookie, had to step up, and he did in a big way. Let's check it out. There's a snap, play action, looking deep, nowhere to go, has to hit the check down, minimal gain. All right, let's break this down from this view, then we'll look at it from the wide copy where you get a really good look at it. So you can see Josiah Stewart, really hard press right there, and then drops into coverage and then stays on the tight end, right? He's playing coverage, right? They're playing deep the entire way. We'll see this play wrap up here and get to the wide copy here in just a second. There we go. You can see right here, Seattle wants to go deep. They want to force it to one of these receivers, but look at the bodies they have downfield, right? But you only get this kind of support from your safeties, keeping your safeties deep like we see here on both sides of the screen, if you've got defensive ends, if you've got linebackers that can drop into coverage. Because what will kill an offense is when you have, or kill a defense, excuse me, if you have guys playing deep and a team's able to check down you to death. One way to counteract that, which the Rams came up with, which is pretty clever, is they had their edge players on the backside, like Josiah Stewart here, basically be the flat cover guy, the taking away the check down, the short throw. Now, he did have the running back in the middle of the field wide open. Somebody screwed the pooch there. I'm not exactly sure who. This was definitely a coverage bust by somebody. I'm guessing that linebacker. But still, this is a situation when you force Seattle, it's all part of their strategy, to not have the big plays. Like, big plays aren't open. Nowhere to go with the football here. Has to throw short, right? And when they throw short, they make mistakes. Instead of hitting the open running back, they hit the tight end for a minimal gain. It's one of those things. This is how you win if you're the Rams against a good offense. But again, it only works if you have versatile playmakers like Josiah Stewart that can rush the passer, but are also willing and able to get into coverage like we see here. Great job by number 10. Great game plan by Los Angeles. All right, let's highlight one of the interceptions. So we're going to get a stunt here, right? 91, and there's Josiah Stewart right there. You can see Josiah Stewart's walked off the football a little bit. How this is supposed to work is 91's supposed to go up the field really aggressively that way, and Josiah Stewart's supposed to loop around. The problem is Kobe Turner goes a little too lateral, and Josiah Stewart runs into him, but number 10 doesn't stop. He keeps working and ends up getting in the quarterback's face, helps result in the interception. Let's check it out. There's a snap. He's got time, but here comes a little pressure, and there's the interception. And there's the big return. You look, Josiah Stewart blocking downfield. Teamwork. Love to see that. Good job there. All right, let's take it all the way back to the beginning. All the way back. Here we go. All right, let's look at Josiah Stewart up the field. Tries to run the stunt. Runs into Kobe Turner. Now, this is on 91. You got to get up the field. You can't go laterally in this situation. And Kobe Turner kind of blows this up right there. But one of the things I love about Stewart is right here, he doesn't freak out. He doesn't geek or like, what am I going to do? He keeps working around and actually ends up getting pressure in the quarterback's face. You can see Sam Darnold. A big part of this was Braden Fisk, right? He gets kind of pancaked a little bit, but there's a lot of at least, trash around the quarterback. You can see Sam Darnold kind of doesn't have a clear picture. Maybe you can't see so well, forces into coverage. Again, when you make the quarterback uncomfortable, they make mistakes. When you force the Seattle Seahawks to be methodical, they make mistakes. And that's what the Rams did. That's what Josiah Stewart played a big role in. Look, he's not the perfect player yet. He's good against the run. He's a good hustle guy. His pass rush technique one-on-one, he has moments where he looks really good, glitch in the matrix style, but he plays with good effort, and he plays a part of the Rams' overall strategy, and I think that's why he's a great rookie for him, because he's not a one-trick pony where he only has a good bull rush or is only really good against the run. He can do a lot of things well and is willing and able to do a lot of things. He's a big reason why the Rams came up with a big win over Seattle and why I think they're one of the top contenders in the NFL.